It is time for Money Power Politics. Today, President Trump ordered his administration to look into reciprocal tariffs on all U.S. trading partners. His nominee for Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said that the country-by-country study would be finished around April 1st. Then the president would impose the final tariffs. But Trump's threat to try to even the score with other countries comes as inflation is heating up again, and that raises the stakes for this strategy. Yet Trump and Lutnick do not seem too concerned. Watch this.
Prices could go up somewhat short term, but prices will also go down. Interest rates are going to ultimately be coming down because of things that happen, and they go hand in hand with the tariffs. But we think that the prices for some things, many things, it could be all things, will go down. Ultimately, will go down.
Remember, if they drop their tariffs, prices for Americans are coming down. Our production's going up, and our costs are going down.
Some things, many things, all things will go down. Interest rates and all the things will go down. Did you get that? Here to help us make sense of it, because I clearly need help, former Wall Street banker turned journalist Bill Cohen. He's a founding partner at Puck News. And David Gura is here, correspondent for Bloomberg and host of the Big Take podcast. All right, David, let's talk about this tariffs study. Because the way I see it, Donald Trump fancies himself a great negotiator. So does Howard Lutnick. And they're going to spend the next few months sort of playing this game of chicken with other countries and other companies. Who's going to come? Who's going to bend the knee because you're afraid of the big bad tariffs from the United States of America? Is that how you see it? Because negotiating, if you're Donald Trump and you don't want to pay a contractor for a job he already did, is much different than doing it from the Oval Office.
I think that we're going to see a lot more meetings like we saw with the Prime Minister of India today. We're going to have world leaders coming to Washington to meet with the president and talk about this. But I got to say, Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, has his work cut out for him. We're talking about, 200 countries around the world that we would have to look at and see what the trading relationship is like, what those tariffs are, talk about reciprocity. And to do all of this by April 1st is a huge undertaking. To go back to something you said just a moment ago, I was struck by him saying interest rates will ultimately go down. Well, of course they will. There's sort of some Newtonian physics applied to economics here. Yes, interest rates are eventually going to go down at some point. I was struck by what he said there, too, just about, there are things that's definitely going to happen at some point. I've just noticed him, too, talking about, this is going to have an effect on consumers. He's allowing that to enter the discourse, allowing himself to talk to people about that now that prices are going to have to go up and there are going to be some inflationary aspects to these tariffs eventually.
Listen, we saw that meeting with Modi today, Bill, and a lot of people in the business community and the administration would say it was great. They didn't create an exemption for India, and Modi came ready to play.
Yeah, well, I noticed that, Donald, he also met with Elon Musk, and Donald Trump did not know why Elon was meeting with Narendra Modi. He said that Elon was going to come by the Oval Office a little later, and he was going to ask him why he was meeting with the Prime Minister of India, that they've known each other for a while. He's got business interests there. I think we got a lot of freelancing going on here, Steph, and, it's fascinating to watch, but I don't know where any of this leads. On the tariff question, the markets reacted very positively to the fact that this study wouldn't be done till April 1st, and maybe the tariffs wouldn't be coming till thereafter, which, is a bit of a relief. And so the market's like that. But, it seems like we've got a lot of freelancing going on everywhere now.
OK, let's go back to that, because we actually have that soundbite from the president talking about Modi being here today and meeting with Elon Musk, because it struck me as well. Let's watch this.
I assume he wants to do business in India, but India is a very hard place to do business in because of the tariffs. They have the highest tariffs just about in the world.
Whether he's meeting with the CEO or meeting with a representative of your government?
Well, he's meeting with me in a little while, so I'm going to ask him that question. All right?
OK, so can we just back that up? Elon Musk met with the leader of India, and the president just basically said he didn't know if he was meeting with him as a representative of the United States or as a business person. OK, that does not happen in first world countries. David?
It doesn't, and it certainly doesn't happen in government properties. That meeting took place in Blair House across the street from the White House, and you saw there arrayed in that room all manner of Indian officials on one side, and then 3 of Elon Musk's children on the other side. I mean, it's a bizarre spectacle, and I think we should linger on that image for a while just to say what is going on here. Of course, they talked about business, and I think that Elon Musk wasn't shy about that. And we've talked many times before, Steph, just about all of the business interests that Elon Musk has: satellites, rockets. All of that is stuff that India is interested in. To go back to something that Donald Trump said about the difficulty of doing business in India, this is the 5th largest economy in the world. And yes, there are tariffs in place, but this is a place that every multinational company wants to do business, indeed is doing business in. So there's kind of a fundamental mischaracterization of the ease with which companies can do business in India.
Okay, what about the ease of doing business in the United States, Bill? In the last few days, when we heard that the president no longer wants us to enforce anti-bribery laws that are on the books, he's making this argument. Nobody wants to do business with the United States. They don't want to do business here because bribery isn't allowed. What does that tell you?
Stephanie, again, it's sort of like a free-for-all, as I was saying before. You know, on the one hand, you know, the regulations are coming off. On the one hand, you know, we've got all these people who are rolling back all the horrible things that were done, the quote-unquote horrible things that were done in the Biden administration, and it's supposed to be a free-for-all. You can do what you want, but you know, it's actually not happening. And you know, what I find so interesting is, like, you know, all the people where I used to work on Wall Street were all gearing up for 2025 to be a big year in investment banking and in M&A and deals, and it just, you know, we're 6 weeks in and it really hasn't happened yet. And I don't feel that it is going to happen because, you know, you've got one of the first things that the Trump Justice Department did was try to block a deal with, you know, Juniper Networks. And, you know, why would you do that if it's going to be, you know, a great banner year in deals? And I'm not sure what kind of message is being sent here by the Trump administration.
Okay, but hold on, Bill. Do you really think that the Trump administration is going to hold up that Juniper deal forever? Or is it that the president needs to meet with those CEOs and see if he can get a pound of flesh out of them?
Yeah, but Steph, you know, we're supposed to be, you know, going into a new era where the regulations are going to be relaxed. And now you're going to have to hold up this deal. Maybe he is going to try to make a deal, but he's also holding up, you know, potentially the deal, the Skydance deal for CBS. He wants a pound of flesh there. He's sort of putting his fingers into the dikes of all of these deals, to mix a horrible metaphor, and you know, holding things up, and people don't know how long. You know, the FCC is going to look at this CBS deal for maybe 18 months. They're thinking about it was supposed to close in the second quarter of this year, and now it may be delayed for as long as 18 months. So this free-for-all, this open regulation period that we're supposed to be, you know, enjoying, seems like it's getting off to a very sluggish start.
CEOs better get their war rooms ready. And David, to your point, this image of Elon Musk with his son or his children in rooms with world leaders, I just leave you with this. Imagine if that was a woman business executive. Imagine if that was a woman leader in government, have a meeting in the Oval Office or with a world leader, and she had her children there. Imagine what the world would be saying. All right. But before we go, we actually have a breaking update on the state of U.S. foreign aid. A federal judge just ordered that the administration must temporarily resume distributing what was in place before Trump took office. It comes after nonprofits working on international aid projects filed lawsuit asking the judge to block the president's executive order implementing a blanket pause on U.S. foreign aid.